Who's on the market in the transfer portal? That's what we'll find out by the end of this week. What's up, everybody? This is Tom Lang with Warchant TV and Warchant.com, bringing you the best FSU coverage on the web. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button underneath this video and subscribe to our channel. Every time one of you hits a like, we find more FSU fans who are looking for our coverage. And if you hit subscribe, you'll find Warchant TV's coverage right on the homepage of your YouTube app or on YouTube.com. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to play football somewhere else this fall, the deadline to enter your name into the transfer portal is on Sunday, May the 1st. So by Monday morning, the coaches at Florida State and across the country will know who is on the market. With that in mind, our own Jeff Cameron and managing editor Ira Schoffel have a discussion about what names have been entered into the portal from Florida State, whether or not those names are surprises, and how many more FSU players can be expected to enter their name into the portal between now and the deadline. Here's what Jeff and Ira had to say.
We've been talking about how big a week this week was going to become because obviously the transfer portal is what everybody has their eye on these days, in particular at Florida State, really all programs, but in particular programs trying to flip it. Sunday is the last day to declare. So what do you expect this week to look like? We know Quayshawn Fuller is gone. How many players are we looking at right now, do you think? And what are your thoughts on when we start hearing some names?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if, maybe 2 or 3 more guys went into the portal. And that's really the only deadline for this week is just you have to play this fall. You got to be in the portal by May 1st. Who they get could take much longer. I expect that they'll have 2 or 3 guys more, and maybe even 3 or 4. I'm not sure the exact number, but those meetings happened last week, have been happening, and they're not running guys off. I think that they're telling guys that, look, your opportunities to play here are not going to be very good. If you stay, here are some other schools you might want to consider, and a lot of those guys are taking those options.
Yeah, that's called having an honest dialogue with players about where they stand. It's not running them off, but it is letting it be known in no uncertain terms. There's not a lot of future for you on the field for us. Here are options, and I think that's an aggressive approach and the right approach.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you would assume, and I think we came into the spring, there were some players that we came into the spring wondering if they would still be here because they had been recruited over. I mean, the reality is, and this is the harsh reality, but it's a business, and coaches will tell players, look, it's my job to recruit a better player than you are, and it's your job to beat that player out. Well, some of these players haven't done that, and so if you've been on campus for 3 or 4 years and you're not moving up the depth chart, you're moving down the depth chart, and they're bringing in kids who are freshmen and sophomores who are now passing you on the depth chart, or they're bringing in transfers who are now above you on the depth chart. You'd expect some guys to realize, look, this isn't going well. I have the transfer portal as an option and look to leave. But some players are like, you know what? I just like being at Florida State, and so this is where I want to be. And so with those players in general, if they're going to get to stay until they graduate. I mean, they're Florida State, like very few schools anymore run anybody off if they want to stay and if they haven't graduated. Now, once a player's been here 4 years and they can graduate, then, at that point, I think Florida State will say, you need to move on. But right now, it's mostly when we talk about underclassmen, it's guys who see possible opportunities to play somewhere else.
Were you surprised that, none of us were surprised, for example, that tight end Kobe Gross left. I don't think anybody was surprised that Jadarius Green McKnight left. He obviously wasn't really going to play, and they've been frustrated with him. Were you surprised that Quayshawn Fuller left?
A little bit, but again, I think he came into the spring, and I think he needed to show something. I mean, the thing everybody says about Quayshawn, and I like Quayshawn whenever we talk to him, he's a gregarious guy and has some ability. But like anytime you talk to anybody around the program, or really any fans that have watched him, they'll always talk about those few flashes, and they'll say, "Well, gee, if we could just get more of that." Well, some guys don't give you more than that, and I know, we've had conversations with people on the staff who say there are times when Quayshawn Fuller will do something where it kind of makes everybody just like, wow, look, did you just see that? But those times are just few and far between. And then you have to be more consistent. And when it doesn't happen consistency, guys start to pass on the depth chart. And I think this spring was a really good spring for guys like Patrick Payton. And I think they like what they see in Byron Turner and some of those other young defensive ends. And then that young freshman class they brought in, Dante Anderson's a lot better. Adam Fuller said Dante Anderson's a lot better than they expected when they signed him. And so, then it becomes the writings on the wall.
And I want to make it clear, even though I come on the airwaves on a regular basis and say that we need to run off even more players, that are not cutting the mustard. It's never a personal thing. Those kids, it's not their fault. They played well enough in high school that they got recruited by a place like Florida State. And if they love it here and they're going to class and they're giving you effort and they're not good enough, it's not their fault. I still want them gone, but I get it that they don't want to leave. What are you going to do? I mean, if I had my druthers, I'd be like, that's great. We screwed up. You're not any good. Take it on down the road. But it doesn't work that way. I get it. You can't do that. And again, it's not always their fault. But for Florida State, I like this approach, and I'm hoping that we see a few more names. You wouldn't be surprised, you said, if there were some more names that enter into the portal this week?
I would not. Again, it's you kind of wonder why it hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen. So maybe it dries up here soon. But no, I do think that there could be a couple more. And again, all that does is just create more cap space in this 1 year where Florida State, where all schools have this extra luxury of those extra spots where you can bring some guys in. So any more guys that go, it creates more opening.
It'll be an interesting week and a fun one. We'll document it as always. I'll talk to you tomorrow, good sir. It's always a pleasure. Be well, Ira, and see you tomorrow.
See you, man.
All right, bye. That's Ira Schoffel. And, he and I have talked about this. You and I have talked about this, Tom. And again, we all do as a staff, and Florida State fans do it collectively. How quickly can we get to where we want to go? How quickly can we upgrade this roster? How quickly can you want to expedite this? Nobody likes sort of languishing around 500 or middle of the pack. You want to see real evidence of a big step forward. And the quickest way to do it in the era of the transfer portal, in addition to recruiting well out of high school, is supplementing what you don't have through said portal with guys that have proven it. And they've had a lot of success doing just that. It's what gives you hope that they can find guys. But if you get guys like Florida State's been able to bring in, and again, Jermaine Johnson's an outlier, they've had several other players that they've brought in through the portal that have contributed right away, that have started right away, that have been an upgrade from what they had starting there prior to their arrival. That's what you're looking to do in the next couple of weeks. When you see what's out there on the landscape of college football, who's entered their name, there are going to be good football players who are looking at opportunities to play that are unhappy for whatever reason at their current locale. Could be kids from the state of Florida who are just homesick. They want to be somewhere closer to home. We took advantage of that in several instances. If you get that chance, one thing you do have going for you, certainly not your record over the last 3 years, but rather the record of those players that have come here, had success, elevated their status, and have gone on to say good things about Florida State in their decision to transfer here previous.
Thanks for watching this video from Warchant TV, and remember, we've got the best coverage of Florida State sports in the business. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and be sure to tune in for other great events, like Michael Langston's recruiting chats, Wake Up Warchant with Aslan Hajavandi and Corey Clark, and of course, daily content right here at 1 p.m. with Jeff Cameron Show Monday, Wednesday through Friday, and Seminole Headlines on Tuesdays right here again at 1 o'clock. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time on Warchant TV.